everyone. Very good evening.
Good evening.
To start off with the business session today, for the upcoming meeting, as a acting president and as a weekly update for the next meeting, we have a speech slot reserved by Toastmaster Madhu, Toastmaster Sindhu, and Toastmaster Sakshi. And we also have a table topic master being reserved by Toastmaster Shiva. And all the other roles are being open. If you guys want to take up any roles, feel free to reach out to me and book your slots. And that is all the VPA update I have for the current meeting. And with that, I would like to hand it back over to Toastmaster Madhu to start off with the Toastmasters Jyothi to start off with the meeting.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
In today's times, where many of us face confusions, restlessness, and where many of us face uncertainty, confusion, or a sense of purposelessness, the chaos in our mind increases, and we run hither in search of happiness and contentment. Racing blindly in this world of fast-paced life, we have become blind to the North Star, and we are not aware of that which lies very deep within us. The guide, the light, the guide of light, the guiding light, that is the meditation. Meditation is a powerful source of energy. It brings in clarity, stability, and calmness. It hardly takes few minutes to sit with yourself, close your eyes, and just observe the thoughts that comes to your mind. It's a wonderful thing. As you observe the thoughts recedes and the quietness, calmness takes over. And this is when it gives us that resilience to take that strength, to take any path, any unknown path with ease. Many years back, when I first sat down for meditation, believe me, in less than 2 minutes, I felt restless and anxious. I was sure this was not for me. This practice was not made for me. But yet I continued. And today, there are times when I can sit eyes closed for 30 minutes and beyond. And this has given me this has guided me when things have fallen apart, and when I'm not sure, when I feel lost, it has anchored me. My dear friends, next time when life overwhelms you with loud sounds in the outer world and in the inner world, a few minutes, take a pause, sit down with yourself, eyes closed, with a deep breath, and listen to your thoughts. It only needs some courage to listen to your thoughts till stillness comes in. And then you see the clarity that comes in, the stillness that comes in. Who knows? You may rediscover your own North Star. As the famous spiritual teacher Rumi said, the more we become silent, the more we are able to hear. And now, it's time to hear from one of the wonderful speaker. She has completed MBA in marketing and is a customer success manager at AppWeek. She is the past area A2 director and was awarded the Outstanding Toastmasters in the year 22-23. When she speaks, words flow effortlessly. And for me, She gives an insights objectively on any matter she speaks about. Personally, I find her very warm and friendly, yet she stands her grounds when required. And now, let's give it up for our acting president, Toastmaster Sindhushree.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Jyothi, for such a warm and friendly welcome. And to start off with today's meeting, let me start off with first is guest introductions. We have almost 3 of them here. I request you to start from where you are and share your name and when did you find us and what are you here for today. Until you join us, this is a practice and we hope you do that frequently. Let's start off with you, please.
I am Deepa Krishnalati and I heard from internet. Obviously, I was searching for Toastmaster class and this was the nearest one. And I am looking for a good communication and probably to improve. So that is what I am looking forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good evening to everybody. My name is Saketh and I'm originally from North Karnataka. It's 100 days. Right now, last 6 months I shifted to Bangalore. Right now I am working here only. Also, my HR sir told me to attend the Toastmaster to improve communication skills, and also they think that I will not mingle with new people like that. So I wanted to improve that also. So
Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Adishwar. I'm in third year studying at SJCC, St. Joseph College of Commerce. And how I got to know about Mekon was Toastmasters was I was part of Junior Toastmaster Youth Leadership Program. That was 5 years back. And now I got to know about this from my dad. My dad was a past secretary at Mekon Toastmaster, Mr. J. And recently, Nagaraj Rao sir told me to join because now I'm above 18. So join and I want to improve my communication skills and let go my stage fear.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. And we have another guest with us today. Since you're standing, we request you to share your name with us, introduce yourself to the club, and also, just tell us why you are here today.
Hi everyone, happy evening.
Evening.
This is C. Rahul Gandhi. Yeah, I've spoken to Prabhakara itself. So I wanted to learn public speaking. I'm on social media now, so that's why I'm here. So that I can learn public speaking and increase my social media presence. Thank you.
Welcome to all the guests. I hope you have a good time and have something to learn from today. And if you have any doubts, feel free to discuss it with any one of us here today, and we'll always be happy to talk to you. And to go with the next part of the session, I request Toastmaster Jyothi to read out the minutes of meeting of previous week.
Once again, good evening, Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
Here are the minutes of meetings number 1321 held on the 16th of June 2025. The theme was Psychology of Expectation, Word of the Week, Equanimity. The business session started at 6:22 p.m. and was chaired by Acting President Toastmaster Sindhushree. In the business sessions, Vice President Education Toastmaster Sindhushree announced about the roles open for the next week. Immediate past President and Chairman of the Nomination Committee, Toastmaster Shivaprasad Sharma, announced that the nomination for the Executive Committee of July to December 25 was completed without any conflict of interest and hence no election would be held. He announced the following members were selected to hold their respective offices. Associate Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Malegiri Das, Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Rachna Sridhar, Associate Treasurer, Toastmaster Chetan Vashisht, Treasurer, Toastmaster Sai Snehal Reddy, Secretary, Toastmasters Madhusudan, Associate Vice President Public Relation, Toastmaster Shuba, Vice President Public Relation, Toastmaster Shreya, Vice President Membership, Toastmaster Saketh, Vice President Education Toastmaster Apoorva and President Toastmaster Latha. The regular meeting started at 6:25 p.m. Acting Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Chetan Vashi started the meeting with an introduction about the theme and handed over the charge to Acting President Toastmaster Sindhushree. Acting President Toastmaster Sindhushree opened the meeting, spoke on the theme and introduced the Master of Ceremonies Toastmaster Saketh. Master of Ceremonies Toastmaster Saketh spoke on the theme and introduced the following role takers for the day. Timer, DTM Udanka, R-Counter, Toastmaster Sachin, PP Evaluator, Toastmaster Veerabhadrappa, Grammarian, Toastmaster Latha. The prepared speech session had the following speaker, Toastmaster Sriram, and was evaluated by DTM U Bhat. An education session titled Communicate to Elevate was conducted by Toastmaster Balaji. The table topic session was conducted by Toastmaster Madhusudan and had 11 speakers. The general evaluation was conducted by Toastmaster Sakshi. The winners of the week were Best Prepared Speaker Toastmaster Sriram, Best Evaluator DTM MU Bhat, Best Table Topic Speaker DTM Udanka and Toastmaster Sindhushree, Best Role Taker TAPG DTM Udanka, Best Role Taker MTG Toastmaster Sakshi. The acting president closed the meeting at 8:40 p.m. followed by the national anthem. Thank you and back to the president.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jyothi. If there are no other additional things or if the meeting minutes of meeting are perfect, then I'll consider that as accepted and move forward with today's meeting. So, speaking of today's theme, that is North Star, it's a quite very common term because every one of us in different profession come across this term at least once in a while in every quarter when your managers comes and scare you with telling we have not achieved the North Star metric this time. Especially for me in marketing, it's a very very scary term because it means you have to achieve these many number of scheduled calls, book demos, registration status, subscription status. At the end of every webinar we conduct, every workshop we conduct, we expect to achieve this North Star metric. Let's not speak about this dashboard of statistics for today. I want to speak about something that I find very interesting these days is the folk stories. Where did this North Star come from? For example, after working quite conveniently with a lot of other global members from Korean, Chinese and Japanese, after watching a lot of folk stories, TV shows, reading a lot of them, I am very much inspired and a complete fan of all the stories that carry hope, faith, belief and love. Once a story that really inspires me or once a story I find very fascinating is the story of Vega and Alta. There are two stars in the astronomical galaxy that's in the Milky Way where Chinese people celebrate a festival for these two stars. As to why? Vega is a star in the celestial galaxy who is a weaver. She weaves the clouds. She is a special body in the heavens. Then there is Alta, who is a humble human cohort. He's the one who looks after the cows and everything. The celestial body Vega falls in love with Alta. The gods or the deities of the universal strength forbid it because these two stars forget their celestial responsibilities and duties. So these particular deities who are responsible of the functioning of the entire galaxy say, you two are forbidden to live together. You two are forbidden to marry each other. So for the rest of the year, these two stars are separated by a Milky Way galaxy. Once in every lunar month, or once in 7 days of every 7th month, they meet. And for them to meet, a magpies of stars have to be formed across the Milky Way galaxy so they too can live with each other for one single day. What it means for today, these stars resemble the love, the hope that awaits us. For the soldiers who go and wage wars, for the soldiers who don't remember the homes or the faces of the baby which gave birth in their home, these stars represent hope, that love awaits them when they come back. Speaking of North Star, also called as Polaris, as we so amazingly speak about the stillness that it comes across, Indian mythology or the Indian folk stories believe It represents a boy called as Dhruva, a boy who was distanced from his father by his stepmother, the boy who lacked love, the boy who did not know what love meant or the family life meant. For this boy, he went into forest one day and just thought, I'll submit myself to the universe. He sat in that place, meditated for years together. The universe was astounded seeing his focus, his stillness. That is why they granted him a permanent position in the universe, that he belongs to the family of stars and we call this Polaris. To this day, he helps all the lost souls, all the wanderers, all the sailors out there to reach their homes, to find their destination. Speaking of another really nice star that I personally love, is called as Meera. In Indian tradition, in Japanese tradition, in Chinese tradition, she carries different names. She is called as Rohini, she is called as Ohinamura in Japan. She represents the beauty of healing. She is not a warrior goddess. She doesn't represent you to go to wars and wage wars. She portrays quiet healing. She speaks about how even in the most chaotic world out there, your voice does not have to be loud. It's the simple, resilient strength, your healing nature that wins. Why am I speaking about stars when we have a very one simple metric called North Star? All these stars, they bright differently. While one shines in different colors and it's looked in red, yellow and white, while the other star just lives long enough to die again and give birth to a bunch of other stars. Or for a star that gives direction and purpose for the rest of the souls who are lost, they represent stories. They represent stories that we all have a different purpose to live. Each one of us here is a star. We shine differently. We have different purposes that we live for. Maybe you don't know that. For the star that explodes every single day called Estanomer, it lives long enough to just explode and give birth to the rest of the stars. And she often wonders, why am I experiencing this? But she never understands the joy. That is why the Japanese and the Chinese traditions celebrate her. Stars leave behind stories. People leave behind stories. Even in the world of dashboards, statistics and data that you chase every single morning, it's the people that hold you to the ground. It's the people who hold you back and say, keep shining brighter, keep shining because you have that enormous amount of light in you. And speaking of this enormous light, we have a person with us who is the actual Sergeant Arms today, for the current term. And this person is being on point, a resilient strength force in this Mekong Communication Club. And he enjoys reading, he enjoys traveling, he enjoys running the most. And with a huge round of applause, please welcome our North Star for today's meeting, Toastmaster Madhu, with a huge round of applause.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sindhu. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests.
Good evening.
North Star, like Toastmaster Sindhu mentioned, I'm sure we've all heard about it. I've specifically heard about it in the corporate setting as Toastmaster Sindhu has, and that's why I selected this theme. We've also heard it in life advice, we've heard it in goal setting, and we've even heard about North Star in leadership speeches. But before it became a metaphor, North Star was a star, like how Toastmaster Sindhu said, and it is still a star. It used to guide travelers for centuries, because unlike other stars, this star is fixed in the night sky. It does not change its position, and it is always pointing towards the north. So for sailors and adventurers, whenever they didn't have their compasses or their maps, if they just followed this star, they'd reach home. Now, this acted as a way for them to cross oceans, to battle severe storms, and to stay the course. And in essence, we all need our own version of a North Star. So, when I speak of a North Star, it means something that's not something of grand vision, but maybe a value, a goal, or even a person that keeps us in the same given direction, even though when things around us seem probably overwhelming or uncertain. sometimes we need to stay the path because there are a lot of distractions. And whenever I think about North Star, only one person comes to my mind. And now, as Toastmaster Sindhu said, I am a runner, or I'd like to call myself as a runner. So in the world of running, one man is famous. His name is Eliud Kipchoge. I don't know how many of you know him, but he's a Kenyan man, and he is the only human till date to have run the marathon, which is 42.2 kilometers in under 2 hours. He did it in 1 hour, 59 minutes, 40 seconds, something which was previously thought of as humanly impossible. And this man was guided and rather lived by his North Star. He came from humble beginnings in Kenya, but he always had this discipline. He had a calm mind, a quiet lifestyle, and he had a deep passion for consistent progress. And that's how he started. And he always had his North Star where he wanted to get better all the time. And that goal of his was to cross human potential, or rather reach the limits of human potential. So that's what he did. Now, whenever I think of Eliud Kipchoge, whenever I'm running, I only think about that single-minded purpose that you need to get better. And I remember a quote that he had said. He said, "Only the disciplined ones in life are free. Those who are undisciplined are slaves to their moods and passions." What a quote, right? This is, in essence, what a North Star means to be. Because at the end of the day, you need to know what you are chasing, and if you're clear about it, no matter the distractions that come about, you will always keep at it because your North Star is guiding you to reach that goal. And for me personally, be it work or in my personal relationships or even here in Toastmasters, my North Star isn't that loud. My North Star is all about, coming to the meeting even when I'm scared to speak up, coming on stage when I really don't want to, and also to learn when it's rather easier to just be coasting all the time. Toastmasters has served as a North Star for me because it's helping me become a better speaker. And after coming to Toastmasters, I feel like I'm anchored in growth, to connection, and to expression because of the community that is here. Now, this community was built by one man and his vision and his own purpose in following his North Star. And that man is Ralph C. Smedley, the founder of Toastmasters. He believed that if you could learn to communicate better, you would be able to lead better. And this simple idea was started off in a basement at the YMCA in Santa Ana, California in 1924. And this simple idea has gone global now because Toastmasters is present in 150 plus countries, having 14,000 plus clubs with 270,000 plus members. Our very own club, Mekong Communication Club, is the 4th oldest club in the country, and it is guided by that same vision and North Star that Ralph had. Now, before we begin, I'd like to say for all of you to reflect on what your own North Star is. Try to understand how can you stay the path when things around you are uncertain and overwhelming, and how can you come back on course even if things aren't going right. Because that is in essence at the end of the day, because if you look at it, even the roads might change, but if you know your North Star, you will always know where you have to go. And that's what North Star is. So let's begin today's meeting. For the benefit of the guests, a typical Toastmasters meeting is divided into 3 sections. The first section is the prepared speech section, where speakers come prepared beforehand and they give a speech here. The second section is the table topic section, where we have a table topics master who comes here, gives out topics randomly to the members present who have to come here and speak for a minute or two. And the third section is the general evaluation section, where we have a general evaluator come and evaluate the proceedings of the entire meeting. And to go ahead for any successful meeting, good role takers to do their actions. Think of them as North Stars guiding this meeting. So I'd like to introduce to you all the TAPG team for today. So when I call out your name, please rise and give your introductions for your role. So as our timer, we have Toastmasters Sindhushree today.
Hello everyone. As timer for the day, my roles and responsibilities to show the timing cards when it is due for the speaker. So I'll be showing green card when he reaches a minimum time allotment, and there will be a yellow card when I showcase when he's almost winding up more, and third red card when he has to really wind up the speech and get off the stage. So in that we have multiple aspects into which it is divided. For prepared speech session, we have the speakers who will speak for 5 to 7 minutes. I'll be showing my green card at 5 minutes, and then I'll show yellow card at 6 minutes, and I'll show red card at 7 minutes. And then we have the evaluators for each of the prepared speeches. For them, we'll be showing at least, they have a time allotment of 2 to 3 minutes. We'll be showing green card at 2 minutes, we'll be showing yellow card at 2 minutes 30 seconds, and then we'll be showing red card at 3 minutes. And then we move forward to the table topic session. For the table topic session, the time allotted for each speaker is 1 to 2 minutes. For 1 minute, I'll be showing green card. For 1 minute 30 seconds, I'll be showing yellow card. And for 2 minutes, I'll be showing the red card. And that's all. And when I'll be giving my report, when the general evaluator calls me upon. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sindhu. For our R counter of today, we have medium Udanka.
Thank you, Toastmasters of the day. As we all know, the speed breakers on the road give us a pause in our travel. Just like that, the R's comes in the speeches gives a pause to our speech and make discomfort for the listeners. So I'm here to note down those words. I'll be noting down mainly the CRPF, the crutch words, repeated words, pauses, and repetitive words. I'll begin my report during the generation. Back to your words, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Our parliamentary procedure evaluator for today is DDM MU.
Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. Any meeting, formal meeting to be successful and effective, certain basic meeting etiquettes have to follow. Our Toastmasters meetings are all formal meetings and we have our own etiquettes to follow. The major 4 are: please enter and exit only during applause, avoid crosstalk amongst yourself, avoid talking about sex, politics and religion, and keep your phones on silent mode, at least switched off, if not switched off. I will, as a PP evaluator, my role is to keep track of the transgressions, if any, and I will give my report during general evaluation. Practice.
And finally, our grammarian, Toastmaster Sakshi.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. As a grammarian for today, my role is to note down all the good usages as well as not so good usages said in today's meeting. Also, my role includes to introduce the word of the day, that is laconic, which means using few words, often that is clear and concise. The usages: the speaker's laconic delivery added power to the message, demonstrating excellent control over the speech. Or I would say another example, when a speaker was asked, "Are you nervous?" he gave a laconic reply and said, "Terrified." With that, back to the MC.
Thank you. That was all our role takers. Now, without further ado, let's go on to the first section of today's meeting, which is the prepared speech section. So for today, we have 2 prepared speakers. And now I request the evaluator of the first speaker, Toastmaster Shuba, to read out the project guidelines.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The speaker is attempting Level 1 Project 2. The purpose of this project is to learn or review basic methods for writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. Notes for the evaluator: the member completing this project is working to write a speech with purpose. The speech they create must be well written and clearly focused. Their goal is to meet their expressed purpose statement with a well executed speech. About the speech, the member will present a well organized, well delivered speech. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any style the member chooses. The speech content and style should work well together. Thank you.
Our first speaker for today is an engineering graduate in electronics and communication from Gulbarga University, who has worked in various leadership positions in the IT industry with domains like semiconductors, consumer electronics, and automotives. He is also a wordsmith and enjoys reading and writing, and has even published his work in English and Kannada. So with a huge round of applause, please welcome Toastmaster Malegiri Das with the speech titled Kafka and the Girl Who Lost Her Doll. Kafka and the Girl Who Lost Her Doll, Toastmaster Malegiri Das.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, Toastmasters of the day, and my dear guests.
Good evening.
Good evening. So, today, I'm going to share with you an interesting story that is not just a tale. The story is about the power of empathy, the power of imagination, and also an unduly power of love. So, by the end of this story, I am sure all of you will find your North Star if you haven't found any. That is the confidence that I can give. Okay, great. So picture this with me. Berlin, 1932, Franz Kafka. He was a very great literary genius in European countries. He is also known for his hard, deep and halting and often unsettling literature. He was 40-year-old, didn't marry, had no children, and he was all full of thoughts, and he was walking on a garden where he met a small little girl, and she was crying. She was not just crying, she was crying her heart out with utter distraught on account of the common childhood sorrow. She had lost her most cherished companion, her favorite doll. So Kafka immediately knelt down to her level, and they both started searching for the doll. They searched near the benches, near the bushes, but unfortunately they couldn't find the doll. So, seeing her grief, Kafka did something remarkable. He told her that he will make a promise. That is, the next day he would come and they would again search for the doll same day, the next day at the same time. So this promise at the time of despair gave the little girl a ray of hope, of igniting a spark that something is there for me next day. Next day again the Kafka came, the girl also came, and they searched for some more time, but in vain. The doll was elusive, they could not find it. And then Kafka, with a twinkle in his eyes and also with profound wisdom, presented her something very magical. He presented her with a tiny folded letter which was written by the doll. So the girl was really anxious. She thought, what is this about? And then he opened the letter and then started reading. So the letter told something like it. Please don't worry, I took a trip to see the world. I will write to you about my adventures. So this was something that the girl was very happy with this. At the same time, there was an element of confusion as to how can a doll write a story. And then began a series of enchanting sagas of the happiness with the girl. So the next day, this story started following, and multiple sets of communication happened with the girl. So every time Kafka and the girl would meet, he would provide her with a letter written by the doll. Those letters were not just letters written simply. Those were meticulously planned letters to tell the girl that how beautiful the world is, how the doll is enjoying, and also the engaging conversations were written all over those letters. These letters made the girl like those letters very adorable. So she started looking forward to these letters every now and then, because it had all the fantasies, it had all the engaging conversations that someone would look for. So suddenly her grief started changing. So she was crying previously, and now those tears turned to happiness, and she was now looking forward to this enchanting series of letters that she would read every day and whenever the Kafka would meet her. So a day came when the Kafka, after this saga continued, a day came when Kafka brought a new doll, brought her doll, and of course this was not the doll which she was looking for. So then he showed her the doll. So the girl was obviously a little confused. She was also looking for the doll, her doll, which had traveled throughout the world and then came to Berlin. But the doll which was shown by Kafka was something different. So she looked at the doll and said, with of course innocent confusion, she told, "This is not my doll." And Kafka understood her confusion, and then he gently opened another letter and gave it to the girl. And the letter read, "The world, I have gone through the world, I have seen many trips, and now I am changed. I am not doll which was previous, and now I have changed." So this kind of a metamorphosis that has gone into the girl changed her perspective. She slowly accepted the reality. So previously he was making her go through all the fantasies, and from fantasies he has now brought into realities. This made her accept the realities of life, and then she slowly started accepting this law and took home. After maybe 1 year or so, Kafka died immediately after this conversation. But what is more hard-hitting is, after the little girl turned out to be a young adult, she again discovered a small chip in that doll. She opened that chip, and in that chip it was written that everything you would love will probably be lost, but in the end love will again come and find you. So this is one of the interesting, this is the true story and interesting fact about a facet of Kafka who we all don't know. Two things to cut this long story short. Two things I want to share is, what happens to you, how do you look at any situation is, how do you respond to any situation is important than what happens to you. That is one thing. And also other thing is, there is a power in the storytelling. There is a power in the imagination. It can change the world. And that is the every reason where we are here today, to tell a story and to make an impact to the world. As a Toastmasters, that is what we would love to hear from all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Das. Now going to our second speech for today, I request the evaluator of the second speaker, Toastmaster Raja, to read out the project guidelines.
The purpose of this project is for the member to clearly define how Toastmasters envisions mentoring. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspect of previous experience as a prodigy. Notes for the evaluator about the speech. The speech is about a time when the member was a prodigy. It may be from any time in his life. The member may discuss any aspect of the prodigy experience. The speech should not be a report on the content of the introduction to Toastmasters mentoring project. I'll be giving my report when called upon. You got this, Saketh. We are all rooting for you. All the best, and we are expecting a fantastic speech from you.
Our second speaker today is the current Vice President of Public Relations at the club, a BCom graduate from Transcend Group of Institutions and a CA aspirant. He loves listening to music, running, trekking, and is at Toastmasters to improve his quality of communication and to learn public speaking. So, with a huge round of applause, please welcome Toastmaster Saketh with the speech titled The Lessons That Shape Me. The Lessons That Shape Me, Toastmaster Saketh.
We often look for mentors in clubs, colleges, or offices. But let me ask you something. What if the greatest mentors have been right beside you all along, disguised as parents? My parents were and still are the most important and first mentors. And today I'm going to share the lessons that have shaped me. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests.
Good evening.
The first lesson that I learned is self-control. And let me tell you something. Everyone has an embarrassing chapter in their life, whether it's stage fright or the difficulty to learn how to ride a cycle. For me, it was the winning war against wetting the bed. Yes. Long before I could spell my name or learn how to tie my shoelace, the biggest challenge for me was to hold my bladder throughout the night, and leading me through this heroic battle were my parents. They didn't use any fancy motivational speech, they didn't use any complicated technique. They had the most simple yet powerful mentoring tool: encouragement and patience. And of course, a lot of extra bed sheets as well. And let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Every morning was a performance review. If the bed was dry, victory. If not, better luck next night. But never once did they shame me. They encouraged the small celebrations and corrected me gently when I slipped. And looking back, that's probably the first time I learned what self-control meant. And honestly, isn't that what mentoring is all about? Helping someone grow without making them feel small. My second lesson is that the learning never stops. You see, when I got my driver's license, I thought I could hit the open road, go for an adventure, have the freedom to drive my own car. But according to my dad, getting your driver's license doesn't mean that you're ready. It means that you're legally allowed to make mistakes under supervision. I mean, when I drive and he sits beside me, it becomes a life evaluation form. Hit the brakes, avoid the potholes, stay focused. Sometimes I wonder whether I'm actually driving the car or delivering a speech and getting live feedback from him. I mean, deep down, he's right. Whether it's life, public speaking, or driving, the learning never stops. The mentors don't just disappear after giving a certificate. They enjoy the ride with you, calmly correct your mistakes, and remind you gently that the growth begins after the test is over. My third lesson is that the power of silent mentoring. You see, life doesn't come with clear set of instructions or a roadmap. Sometimes you get lost, not on the road, but inside your own head. And that happened to me. There was a time when I was not in a good state of mental health. I felt stuck, I felt doubting myself and everything that I did. And to be honest, I was wondering if I could ever feel like me again. And during that phase, advice didn't help, motivational speeches didn't help, and honestly, I didn't know what I wanted even. But my mom did. She didn't see anything, she just stayed. And in that silent moment is when I realized that no matter how lost I felt, I wasn't alone. The real mentorship isn't about giving grand speeches or constant feedback. It's sometimes about the mentor not even giving you the path, but just walking with you in silence until you find your own way. My fourth lesson is the freedom to make my own mistakes. The final lesson that my parents taught me was not through an advice or an instruction, but the most difficult part, they gave me the freedom to make my own mistakes. Now, they could have controlled me, every decision I would have made. They could have stopped me when they knew I was going to fail, but they didn't. They believe in one thing that every mentor knows, that real growth happens when things are not perfect, when you mess it up, when you reflect and you find your way back. Whether we chose the wrong path, whether poor decision making, or even the daily small mistakes. They stood watching me and helping me guide through it. And even helped me learn through the hardest ways. You see, that's when I realized that the greatest gift that my parents have given me was not about protection, it's about trust. Trust that I'd stumble, fall, and still find my way. And that's real mentorship. Not by protecting someone from their mistakes, but giving them the space to make their own. And after all the lessons that I've learned from them, I realized that mentorship isn't always formal. It's about life's simplest form of moments, whether learning self-control as a toddler, or learning to be confident behind the wheel, or finding peace in tough times in silence, and giving me the freedom to make my own mistakes. Amma and Nana, my first mentors, they taught me that mentorship is about standing with someone through their messy mistakes, frustrated failures, and quiet victories. Mentorship isn't about control, it is about belief. It is not about telling someone what to do, it is about giving them the space to grow, fall, and still be trusted to rise. Thank you.
Alright, going to the next part of today's meeting, the ever exciting table topic section. So, to help us conduct this, I'd like to introduce you to our table topics master. She is a skill development trainer specializing in communication and leadership with more than 20 plus years of experience in different domains. Plus, she is also an end-to-end event manager with more than 10 years of experience. Her hobbies include traveling, reading, music, dancing, and cooking. A person who believes that success is equal to right skills plus right attitude plus overall wellness. So please welcome our table topics master for today, Toastmaster Latha.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests.
Good evening.
Now, table topics is the most exciting session what we have in a Toastmasters meeting. It's nothing but I give a topic, you're not given time to prepare, you come back here and you speak for 2 minutes. So this is something where you come unprepared, it's your training on how do you talk on improv speaking. Now, I've given a theme for my table topics today, and the theme is expressions and memories. Expressions and memories. And my first topic for the day is the first time I tried pizza or pasta or burger. The first time I tried pizza or pasta or a burger. And for this topic, I would like to call upon DTM U Bhat.
Madam Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests. Pizza, pasta, or
First time you
burger.
tried, yeah, obviously.
Okay, let me say my first experience with the burger. We went to, I was in London for some training for a month's period, located there, and in the evening we are traveling to, whenever we have got time. You know, me, my friends, 4 of our roommates and all, we are staying together for a business. So we are going in the evening. So one day it was a Thursday, and we had gone to the nearest McDonald's. It was not Frankfurt, it was a Magburger. So that day he was having, my friend was an infant Jesus follower, and Thursday he was not, doesn't eat any non-veg at all. So we went there and we looked for the menu, at least some veg thing. The one thing at last we got, cheeseburger. We are very happy. This is what we are looking for. Then we ordered the cheeseburger. Pure cheeseburger. We sat, we ate the burger. We came out and sitting in green park nearby and chatting. But on the way, we just saw some books were kept in the McDonald's outlet about what you ate today. You know, McDonald's, their menu and all that. So what is that written there? So we picked up, and when we went to Green Park, we were just thinking, let me see what we ate today. It was written cheeseburger, pure cheese of buffaloes from Brazil, and special bun by specially prepared bun for this, and pure size of thick your beef patties. No addition, no additives, no color, but just pure beef. And my friend was looking like this, but I said, don't bother about it. You have enjoyed it. You are not known what you are eating there. So that is the first time I not only ate your patties or a burger, but a beef burger in McDonald's. And now I don't know whether I still eat, because many times what you order is chicken or mutton, it could as well be beef. We don't know. Particularly when you go to Kerala South, half the time it will be beef perhaps, but you are forced. But that has been my experience. I don't know how my friend took it, but that's how it is. But I don't regret it. It's okay. Whatever it is an experience. That.
Thank you, Reddy and Amibhat, for sharing your experience. My next topic is, there will be a lot of first in my table topics today, because more about expression and memory. My first salary. My next topic is my first salary. And for this topic, I would like to call upon Toastmaster Sakshi.
My first salary, though it was peanuts, but it meant a lot. Of course, it means for everyone. It means for everyone. But I want to tell that more than my salary, it was the incentive. It was my visit to Spain. Yes, that was my incentive, and I'm proud to tell this to anyone. It was my first. Just after the first salary, it was announced that Sakshi, you have been qualified to visit Spain. Though I was excited about my Spain trip, but this moment when your salary is credited, though still we get excited on 1st of every month, but your first salary, your first burger, your first pizza, your first marriage is what is special. With that, thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sakshi, for sharing a lot of the first, which includes the marriage also here. And for the next topic is my first day in office. My first day in office, and for this I would like to call upon Toastmaster Veerabhadrappa.
Hello, Namaskara. My first day in office. After the graduation, you may wonder, at that time it was very difficult to get a job. Very difficult, even though you are a graduate that was the time, what I am talking is 1971-72, it was a tougher job. Above all, my sister also with me too was aspiring to become an MBBS for them. Somehow I got a job, you believe me, per day 10 rupees. That is making survey. survey of the rural engineering division. What I get some salary like that one, even though I was reluctant, I was not knowing anything, but with the intention of getting, I joined there. So 30 days in a month is the salary they are going to pay 10 rupees, that is 300 rupees. You never used to, that engineer, he never used to pay 300 rupees, he used to give me only 240 rupees. I asked him, no, that Sunday other thing, my money, he used to say that. I felt very bad, even though he makes a bill on my name, why he is not giving 300 rupees was the one which was this thing. After many days, I met him. He came to my factory and saw my position there. He was very, he said, I am sorry, Vadrappa, I deducted 60 rupees in your this thing, I am very sorry. Like that, he said, sir, it happens, whatever is there. So with that 240 rupees, you can, I had some table, I used to stay in my relative's house. In a drawer I used to keep there, take some 5 rupees, 10 rupees. I used to enjoy by seeing that salary. It was a fantastic salary at that time. So if I remember those days, so how I came to level what I had is all the grace of God. It is all the grace of God and tenacity, perseverance, endurance. My commitment is the one which makes you to grow, and you can rise to the position. If you have these qualities, you can rise to the position whatever you dream. Thank you very much.
They always say that determination is the key to success, and Veerabhadrappa sir has proved it. So my next topic for the day is my first mentor in Toastmasters. My first mentor in Toastmasters. And for this topic, I would like to call upon DTM K Prabhakara.
Madam Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. The Toastmasters, as our MC has told, our club started way back in August 1998. There was no mentor. We are all self-mentoring. The first speech ever I heard being given to inspire our office, which was in Rupatunga or KR Circle. We had about 400 engineers in that. It was a big office. And first speech ever was given by him. And the title of the speech I still remember, when the situation gets tough, the tough gets going. And the whole number of people were present. He gave a thunderous kind of resounding kind of huge voice, and he gave that speech, and people were inspired. And that's how we thought that if I can be somebody, I have to be like him. So it was not that there were some benchmarks were set, and that benchmark was first set by U Sharma, who really struggled hard to put this club together. It was not easy to convince the management that this is what is required. Engineers, we do a lot of things, but to communicate, it's another world altogether. So he thought that it's required. And that's how the concept of self-mentoring came. We used to read each and every specification, and then, okay, this is what we are supposed to do, and we used to deliver this speech. And there was no other way to do it. And people who mentored were from Garden City, where our first president was, U Sharma was a member there. And he used to bring Lamla and some of the other people, and they used to evaluate, and there it was something different. Today you give the speech and you decide whether you are going to the next project. In those days it was even different. That is, the evaluator had to say you can take up next project, otherwise you have to repeat. So that kind of tight way of operation was there, and it used to be dead silence. It used to be a highly intellectual kind of topic like Madhusudan or what he spoke today, Das. And there is that kind of situation was there. You cannot be talking kind of nonsense kind of thing. There was no way. And that tight atmosphere itself pushed people to go up and send it into a positive spiral. So self-mentoring, and that is what I am made about. Over to table topic.
thank you deeply, K Prabhakara, for helping us realize that we are having the easier days now in Toastmasters. My next topic, my first corona vaccine. My first corona vaccine, and for this particular topic, I would like to call upon Toastmaster Sai Snehal Reddy.
Table topics master, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Well, not something I was expecting to get a topic, but took me back to 2020, I think around September or October, when I was very reluctant to get a vaccine. Because I kept reading on the internet that vaccines are not safe, you will die the next day. A lot of information from the internet and a lot of fake news being spread everywhere. But one thing that kept me to go get it was that the world is trying to fight something, and why go against it when you can be a part of it and fight that one thing together? And that day I realized that it's not just about vaccines, but it's about a lot of things in the world and universe. Why try to fight something when you can go with it and do something for a greater cause? That way, I think even Ralph C. Smedley found some problem and he tried to solve it, and we have Toastmasters today. Maybe there'll be someone who starts something tomorrow and we'll have a bigger organization in terms of anything. But when you get to be a part of such thing, don't ever let it go. Don't be reluctant, don't fight against it, but give it your best opportunity, give it your best shot and see what you can do and go for it. Maybe you can be the change that the world can see tomorrow.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sai. All of us had the same feeling when we were asked to take the vaccines. Not sure about it, what health consequences it's going to get us. Now my next topic. My first trophy which I won in my life. The first trophy which I won in my life. And for this topic, I would like to call upon Toastmaster Shuba.
I was probably in the 7th grade when I won my first trophy, so to speak. Until then, what my image was in school was that he's I mean, my image still is that, but that he's a complete nerd. And I look like one. The only thing missing were a pair of spectacles back then. And that all he does is study day and night. And the truth about me was I hardly studied. The only thing I did was that atlas book that you would get with all the other books that your teachers would not touch because it doesn't count for the exams. I would sit day and night with that atlas book, mark the cities, mark the maps, etc., the lines, etc. And that was where my interest was. And the history portion of those textbooks, that again, teachers would not go into detail. Reading, and I'd read extra books, like there used to be this magazine called Tell Me Why, and I used to read all those things. And one fine day they said there will be an inter-stream quiz, and in the school that I went to, Kumarans, CBSE, ICSE State Board, I was from State Board, and there was an inter-stream quiz held. And I got an opportunity to contest in the prelims. It was a written round, I somehow managed to pass it, and I was teamed up with another guy. Long story short, we went into the quiz there and we won first place. And that time I still remember very well. People said that textbooks or reading is probably a big waste of time. You should spend your time in school doing many other things, playing games, etc. But back then, the reading with the interest rather than reading for the exams and reading stuff that doesn't really count in terms of marks, but for other things, brought me where I was to today. And that was the first ever quiz, and post that it went on to become a much bigger journey. That is for another speech on another day. Back to the table topics.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shiva. This was the first impression what I got about when I saw you first time, that I thought, okay, he's a nerd guy, very intelligent guy. Let's be away from him. Okay, my next topic for the day is the first ever dish cooked by me. The first ever dish cooked by me, Toastmaster Jyothi.
If I have to remember the first time I cooked, I've been cooking from way back. I think I was in 5th, 6th standard when kitchen held my intention, my interest, only because if I were to be in the kitchen, I did not study. So that's always made me go to the kitchen, and I remember like it was always either my mother needed help in the kitchen, or when we went out to someone's house, it would be the auntie who needed kitchen, because if we sit outside with parents, then they will ask questions from the subject. And I never wanted to answer any academic questions. So kitchen has always been my interest because it helps me to be away from the, even later as an adult, as a married woman, I like to be in the kitchen because then you are away from the family politics. And even now, like if I'm in the kitchen and I'm away from watching what children watch, the sports or the latest TV show, which does not hold my interest. So there is no specific dish that I remember was my first time. It is the kitchen that has always held my interest, and I basically love to be there. And one thing that I remember is when I was newly married, I was not allowed to enter the kitchen, and I felt very bad. Like, you know, I thought that something was taken away from me. And so during one of the festival, when their other grandchild fell sick and they all went to the hospital, I was very, very happy to be in the kitchen. And by the time they came from the hospital, I had prepared everything that has to be prepared for a festival. And from then onwards, the kitchen was in my hands. Thank you.
Yes, kitchen is the safest place, I feel, for a woman if you want to cut out from the family politics. My next topic for the day. Everyone's looking at me like, okay, let me give her the topic. My first super hit dance performance. My first super hit dance performance. And for this topic, I would like to call upon Toastmaster Apoorva.
Thank you, Toastmaster Latha, for that wonderful topic. My first super hit dance performance. Frankly, I don't remember my very first performance. It must be somewhere when I was in preschool or something like that. And I've seen those photos that my mom has shown as a kid when I was dancing. Like I think every kid who's gone to kindergarten, we wearing those cute clothes, especially the girls wearing those cute frocks and dancing with a fan or any props. Those are the memories I have. But my interest toward dancing, right now I love dancing, but my interest towards dancing was developed maybe when I was somewhere around 6th standard. In my 6th standard, when it was, I think, one of my cousin sister's wedding, and we had a Sangeet function. That was like my earliest memory. And when I saw everybody, all my cousins dancing for all the songs, till then I was not much into movies as well. So I was really not aware of those Bollywood or Telugu songs or whatever. But when I saw them dancing, I wanted to be a part of it. They say no FOMO, that was the day I felt like I actually missed out on all the fun because I wasn't aware. Also maybe when I saw them dancing, I wanted to be part of it, part of that celebration, that enjoyment. And I felt like I missed out being on the spotlight. So that was when I had that interest. Then I asked my mom to join me to a dance class, which she did. And post that, I think after a year or 1.5 years later, the other cousin sister's wedding was there. And it was a Sangeet function, and that time I was actually part of the performance then. So that was maybe the earliest memory of a super hit dance performance, and which I was part of it. I thoroughly enjoyed. Even to date, I love dancing. It is one of the best stress buster according to me. Thank you, and over to the
Thank you, Apoorva, sharing experience. They always tell that people who love dancing, you just start a generator, they can even dance on that. That's what love for dancing is. So my next topic is my first and the most favorite pet. My first and most favorite pet. For this topic, I would like to call upon Udanka.
My first ever pet. In my religion, we are not supposed to have a pet, and I think you can know better than me. But I do had a pet in form of a neighbor. My neighbor's pet, not neighbor's pet. So what I used to do is I had this back then. I miss Shih Tzu, but back then we had something similar called Grammarian. So that was the first pet I ever petted. So initial days when I moved to that particular building, and I was like a little scared of that because it always used to bark, and most of you people know it. It's always barking. I don't know how, but I was a little scared. How should I go near it or not? But there was an incident where I was cycling, and all of a sudden I see it's friend of me. Like, okay, I was calm for a minute or two. I did not move. It did not move. We were still staying, looking at each other. The moment it started one step, I took a U-turn. I started pedaling a lot on my cycle, but ended up being behind it. It came to me and started licking my toes. I like, no, you are not supposed to do this. I gently pushed it away, but yet it came near me, started licking the toes again, and that's how the bonding between me and, if I remember the name correctly, it was called as Rocky. Yes, not the Rocky Boy, but the Rocky. So that's how the bond between us started, and suppose that after my school, I used to go get freshened up, and immediately I used to run to my neighbors and check how it is doing, and I used to take to the walk with them in the evenings. I used to go out with them. And that's the memory I have, and I'm not sure if it is alive or not because dog have a less, especially those kind of breeds has less lifespan. So those days was fun, but I still love to have dogs. But if my mama loves me, the very next thing is what I'm going to do is get a Shih Tzu at my house.
Thank you, Udanka. If I tell my mom I want a pet, my mom said I have 3 dogs in the house. I can't afford a 4th one. So no getting dogs or cats in my house. Now my next topic. The first car I purchased by my money. My first car purchased by my money. For this topic, I would like to call upon Toastmaster Raja.
Thank you, table topping master, fellow Toastmasters. The first car I purchased with my money would be I purchased a Swift. So I was in Dubai working, and I see everyone driving a car. That way everyone was driving a very big car. So I went to the car showroom and I said, okay, I want to purchase a big car. He said so and so. I looked at my pocket. I looked at him. I said, no, this is not going to work out. Then I go to another second-hand car showroom. And I asked him, how much is this? I asked a big car. He said, this is like, so and so amount. I said, no, not this one. What about that? Another small one. So I got a small car, which is a Swift. And, but I didn't regret. And I was not ashamed also. So I'll have like large, big cars driving in the Dubai road. In between, I'll be having a small car. And then I'll be riding. But I enjoyed it. I had the car for 2 years. And when I was about to leave the country, I don't know how to give that or how to sell that. So that time, one of my friend came. I told him, this is the fantastic car that you can buy. You can pay me only this much. And luckily he said okay. So as soon as he said okay, that immediately the next day only we did the registration. Then it became his car. So that's my first car story. And even now I got upgraded. From Swift, I became Swift Desire. Now I'm driving Swift Desire. That's my relationship with the cars. Back to tabletop.
A very interesting take from Swift to Swift Desire, Toastmaster Raja. My next topic is something very relatable and one with whom we relate to this particular topic. My first day in gym. My first ever day in gym. And for this topic, I would like to call upon Toastmaster Madhu.
So I only started going to the gym since last year. So at the ripe old age of 27, when everyone starts at 18 or 16, I started at 27 because I was kind of immobile, you could say. I had an accident, couldn't run, so I thought, what is the only thing that I could probably go do which would keep me fit? And that was a gym which is like 2 minutes from my home, walking distance. So I go to the gym and it's 5:30 in the morning, there are only a handful of people there. And this is my first time in the gym. The other time I was in the gym was to get a membership and I never saw the equipments or anything. I just went like, give me a membership for a year and I walked out. So the first day I'm there, I'm looking at all the different machines and I'm trying to pull it down, do whatever, but I really don't understand the mechanics of anything. And then I approach a random person and I'm like, hey, this is my first day at the gym, can you help me out? And he's like, oh, it's your first day? Do one thing, don't touch anything, just observe people. Or if you want to do anything, go to the treadmill and walk. And that's what I did. So I went to the treadmill, I walked for 10 minutes. And by that time the trainer had come, I approached him, I told him hey, this is my first time here, I've never lifted any weights, as you could see. And you need to help me out. And he gave me a plan, I stuck to it, and the rest of the day I just observed people there, how they use the machines, their form and whatnot. So I think I took a lot of learnings from that one day, which I still employ every time I go to the gym. So thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Madhu. You brought back my cult day memories, and this is going to be my last topic for the day. Okay, this was the last topic what we had, and I hope you had a great session, and back to the MC for the day.
Alright, that was a great second part of our meeting. I think we can break for a brief break now. 5 minutes? 5-minute break. Alright, welcome back everyone. I hope the break was a good one. So let's move on to the last part of today's meeting, which is the general evaluation part. To help us with this, let's welcome the general evaluator for today's meeting. He is a current division director of District 121, an MCOM graduate who's currently pursuing his CA as well. He is an occasional reader, a former football player, current cyclist, biker, and Toastmaster who's helped many Toastmasters to become better leaders, communicators, and speakers. With a huge round of applause, please welcome our general evaluator for today, Toastmaster Sai Snehal.
Good evening, fellow Toastmaster guests, and thank you, Toastmaster Madhu, for that wonderful introduction. The theme, the North Star. I think something that I observed throughout the entire meeting was that every speaker who was behind the lectern had something relating to the theme, and they had a similar approach from different angles, and all together, they had a very centric approach, made us all feel like a wholesome meeting where every one of us understood what the theme was from their own perspective. Something I truly liked, enjoyed, and I think I'll remember this theme for a very long time. So let's quickly get on to the Let's quickly get on to today's meeting. The meeting started at 6:21 p.m. The business session was short, crisp and clear. It was just the updates about the upcoming meetings, and interested members can contact the Vice President Education for roles. Toastmaster Jyothi started the Sergeant at Arms address. She did have a very beautiful voice explaining the value of meditation, so much that her voice itself got us into a very meditative state. Didn't it or not? So this is something I really like. When a person is speaking, they not only just speak about the theme, but also get into a similar state to explain what they're trying to speak. And towards the end of her address, she woke us up with that high rise of voice and told us it's done, now you have to get back to reality. That is something I really liked. But one thing I really want to give you a suggestion is, in case you are writing down a script, the first rule is not to refer to it. Second thing is, if you are, make sure you have it with you and not forget and go back, because you're the first person to kickstart the meeting, and you itself forgetting and going back will get the audience to high note and suddenly drop down. That's something you can work upon, but apart from that, your voice and your address about the meditation was a really great start to us, and also told us what your North Star and the relevance it had to today's meeting and also your life in general. Thank you. For that job, can we have a huge round of applause? Yes. Next up, we had the presiding officer for today, Toastmaster Sindhushree. She had the guest introductions in place. She also got the minutes of the meeting read by Toastmaster Jyothi. And coming to her address, she had a very beautiful story about the folk stories, which was extremely well structured, organized, and also I would say it was laconic because it had the correct choice of words, the correct relevance, and also it gave in some relevance to today's meeting and the theme as well. Few key takeaways I had from the speech was each one of us is a star and we always have hope to look forward to. Today you had that magic in your voice which all of us had our ears glued to. For that job, can we have a huge round of applause for the presiding? Okay, now moving on to the prepared speech. We had two speeches today, and to give in the evaluation for the first speaker, I would like to introduce Toastmaster Shuba.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. And a special good evening to the speaker for today, Toastmaster Das. I think overall the speech title as well as the story of the topic was brilliantly chosen and also well delivered. It was such an endearing story about this girl who had lost her doll and how Franz Kafka really turned that suffering and sadness into something she looks forward to, which was reading the letters and using fantasy as a way to do that. You began the speech with the introduction where you gave us a heads up about how the story was going to be. It was going to be empathetic, imaginative, and a story about love. And you told us once you hear this, you will feel all of this. So that really made us clue into look forward to the story that you were going to say. And then you told us a little bit about the character in the story, Franz Kafka, and eventually delivered the story as well as the important message, your takeaways from the story in the conclusion. So all of these points well done. A suggestion for improvement could be that throughout the whole speech, your voice was a little low. So you could increase your voice, but that definitely comes from giving more and more speeches. And one thing that you can challenge yourself is you do have a natural way of body language with what you're saying, but it's sort of restricted in this area. So maybe take a step back and then deliver your speech. That is all for my evaluation. Looking forward to more speeches from you. Thank you.
Thank you for that evaluation, Toastmaster Shuba. I was initially going to call Toastmaster Shuba, but I saw Raja move and I thought he was the evaluator, so I just quickly called him. But anyways, what I really liked in Shuba's evaluation is that she pointed out the exact places where Toastmaster Malegiri Das would need improvement in his speech. For example, his voice, the places where you can add in a little bit of emotion and a lot of other aspects. But one thing you could have done to help him understand your evaluation better is, for example, you said you could have raised your voice, or the voice was completely low throughout the speech. It might be a little difficult for the new speakers to understand where exactly am I supposed to raise my voice, or where is it more important and relevant to the audience. You could give him some examples from his script telling, this is where I would want you to, raise your voice. For that, it gives in a better impact to the audience. Over time, they will learn that, raising the voice, not just in these, but the entire script will add more relevance to them. But apart from that, you did a really great job. You gave him suggestion for him to work upon. And you are actually a very natural storyteller. With the suggestion Shuba has for you, I think you will take it to the next level. For both of them, can we have a huge round of applause? Second speaker was Toastmaster Saketh with a speech titled The Lesson That Shaped Me, and I would like to request the evaluator, Toastmaster Raja, to give his evaluation.
If life is a voyage, mentors are the people who put the hand on your shoulder and show the North Star. Now, today's speech from Toastmaster Saketh was talking about his previous experience as a prodigy or a mentee. Now, there are things that I liked about his speech. The first one is the clarity in his speech. And he had 3 stories. Not a lot of stories or just only one story. He had enough stories to cover in his speech where he touched upon different topics. What I really liked is his vulnerability. Who would come here and talk about wetting the bed sheets when you were a kid? He shared vulnerability that made us connect with his story. He had a lot of strong points, strong phrases, which I'll come to that. And also his humor worked in various places in his speech. Now, his phrases were fantastic throughout the speech, where he said, help them grow without making them small. Growth begins after test is over. Walking with silence until you find your own ways. These are all great phrases that he added in the speech, which took his speech to the next level. I also liked his body language and use of stage, where he said, choose a wrong path, looking at the audience here. Poor decision making, looking at the audience on the right side. It's about trust. When he said all these, his body language and voice was very clear. Now, the areas that he can improve upon, it's more around the volume, pitch and tone. When you started, you should start with high volume. We often look for mentors in colleges. It shouldn't be like we often look for mentors in colleges. Or when you are ending, where you had a great phrase, you need to increase the volume. Grow, fall, still be trusted to rise. The next one is the pitch. Your entire speech had the same level of pitch. You need to go up and down where the audience can absorb or connect with your speech more. The last one is the tone in how we are delivering the speech. For example, I can say like this, I don't even know what I wanted. In the silent moment, I wasn't alone. So this is a humor tone. Whereas if you say, I don't even know what I wanted, but in the silent moment, I understood. So that's the tone. So you need to bring the tone into your speech. And sometimes in the body language, it went back to a default position of where you kept your hands like this, close together. That's something you can work on. But other than that, it was a fantastic speech, great storytelling. All the best for your future speeches.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raja, for that wonderful evaluation. What I particularly liked in Raja's evaluation is that he broke down the entire evaluation to 3 categories: voice, tone, and also the content, and also helped him understand where he can focus on and what to focus on, whether could it be content, tone, or even a lot of other aspects. He even got in examples from parts of his speech to help the speaker understand where he can grow or where he can work upon. What I particularly liked in Toastmaster Saketh's speech is that he chose the entire stage today and he used it. Initially, he's someone who restricts himself, and today I think he broke his own barrier and used the entire stage. For that, efforts from the evaluator and the speaker, can we have a huge round of applause? Next, we had the table topic session by Toastmaster Latha, and we had around 11 topics. What I really liked is initially when you started off your introduction about the table topic session, you did say that there is a theme to today's meeting, table topics, that is expressions and memory. Is that correct? So when I hear themes in table topics, I like where this table topic master is going. What are they trying to convey with the theme that they have, a sub-theme inner meeting? And when I hear the topics, I'll understand what relevance they have to the theme that they have chosen. Today, all your topics were about my first time either doing this or doing something else. It all got us all thinking about our old times, a lot of memories, a lot of nostalgia, and everybody over here spoke about something from their heart. And I really like the choice of speakers as well because it did feel a little targeted for some, but also the stories that they had to tell was quite relevant to all of us today. But a few suggestions that I have for you is, firstly, you could avoid the role takers, especially myself and Madhu, because we are part of the role takers who would end up taking a lot of time behind the lectern. Maybe the TAPG or even the evaluators, you can, if the number of members in the room are a little less, but something you can avoid because we do get a fair bit share of time behind the lectern. Second thing is, in spite of saying your theme was expressions and memories, all topics had my first. It was kind of only towards that, my first. Maybe a little bit of variance would also get the audience engaging and interested. Because everything went back to the previous history, nothing about anything that they could speak upon apart from that. Not just to anybody, but generally saying. And one thing that I noticed is you try to align certain topics with the theme. What you wanted to say with the North Star, or the general base of your entire topics was about North Star. That's something I quite liked it, but some suggestions for you was, try to avoid the role takers and keeping all of them the same. But apart from that, we had a nice session, people did enjoy it, and we had good responses today. As you can see, the timers, everybody spoke for at least a minute, some of them even crossing 2 minutes and 30 seconds as well. So that says the topic's easiness and also the relevance to the meeting. But for that job that she's done extremely well, can we have a huge round of applause? Alright, now let's move to the TAPG team and we'll start off with the Parliamentary Procedure Evaluator, Distinguished Toastmaster U Bhat.
Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests. My job was minimal today because I could see only some few entries and exits were there and all doing applause. So no issues, no for telephone ring. I couldn't observe any crosstalk. Nobody talked about sex, politics or religion except one person who talked about infant Jesus. Yours faithfully. But there was no religious import to the statement, so I excuse him. So otherwise, excellent meeting what we had today. Congratulations to all of us. Back to you.
Thank you, Distinguished Toastmaster U Bhat, and also being open and honest about your own mistake that you, and also it was not extremely harmful, but I think we'll just let that slide for today. Next up, can we have the report of the Grammarian by Toastmaster Sakshi?
Wow. I had a session few days back on listening and hearing. And today I tried hard to listen everything, but I could just hear. So few of the good usages which I listened today: essence of purposelessness, guiding light; thoughts resides, resilience; restless and anxious; loud songs in the outer and inner world; forbidded and forbidden; astounded, lost souls, wondrous. And one pronunciation which I felt new for me is astronomer. So metaphor and metamorphosis. Only disciplined ones in life are free, coasting, anchored in growth, communicate better, lead better, wordsmith, utter distort, grief, ray of hope, profound wisdom, enchanting saga, meticulously planned, adorable, hard-hitting, lessons that shaped me, heroic battle, better luck next night, learning never stops, deep down, power of silent mentoring, freedom to make mistakes, confident behind wheel, quiet victory, expressions or memories, determination is the key to success, salary as a peanut, when the situation gets tough, tough gets going, self-mentoring, dead silence, nerd, family politics, stress buster, vulnerability, grow, fall, still be trusted to rise, and few of my favorites. Discover your own North Star. Everything you love will be probably lost, but in the end, love will find you. You can be the change that world can see you by Gandhi. Reading is the waste of time. Magic in voice, which all of us had ears glued to. Help me grow without making them small. With that, okay, word of the day was used by Sakshi, laconic, at the time of Grammarian introduction. With that, thanks to the general evaluation.
+1, I did use it as well.
She only heard
Exactly.
But still, you did have a lot of good usages that you wrote down. But did she hear or did she listen today?
Listen.
She did note a lot of points. What were you trying to tell? For that job, can we have a huge round of applause? Next up, can we have the R Counters report by distinguished Toastmaster Udanka?
One common repetitive word with majority of the speakers were and. It was used by almost 9 speakers throughout. So starting off with the Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Jyothi, you had 2 hours, 1 repetitive word and pause twice. Acting President Toastmaster Sindhu had 1 hour, repetitive word and. Toastmaster today, Toastmaster Madhu, you so far have taken no hours in your MC service, but you have a Kutch word and. Speaker 1, Das, you had 3 hours and repetitive word as so, and you had 2 on inappropriate pauses. Evaluator 1, Shuba, you had 3 hours and a crutch word but. Speaker 2, Saketh, had 1 repetitive word and. Speaker 2, Evaluator 2, Raja, had 4 hours and 2 inappropriate pauses. Topics Master, Toastmaster Latha, had 3 hours in total. Speaker 1, Toastmaster U Bhat, had 2 hours, repetitive word and 1 pause. Toastmaster Sakshi had 1 pause and repetitive or crutch word but. Speaker 3, Veerabhadrappa, had 1 hour and repetitive word and. Toastmaster Sai Snehal had repetitive word and. Toastmaster Shiva had 5 hours and repetitive word and. Toastmaster Jyothi had 2 hours and 1 inappropriate pause. Toastmaster Apoorva had 6 hours and 2 inappropriate pauses. Distinguished Toastmaster Latha, I'm waiting for the report in the YouTube. Speaker number 10, Raja, had 1 hour, and finally the 11th speaker, Toastmaster Madhu, had 1 hour and repetitive word so. General Evaluator has so far used 2 hours.
Thank you for that extremely precise report. I think one of the difficult tasks of an R counter is to actually hear and understand and remember the number of hours each speaker has said, and also make sure you make a note of them. For that job that he's done extremely well, can we have a huge round of applause? Can we have the timers reports by Toastmasters Sindhushree?
So to give up the timers report for today's meeting, the meeting started or commenced at 6:22 p.m. And then we had a business session for almost a minute. And then we are welcomed by Sergeant Arms, took around 4 minutes 18 seconds, that is Toastmaster Jyothi. Then the President address, which was given by Toastmaster Sindhushree, took around 5 minutes 55 seconds. And introduction to the Toastmaster of the evening took around 33 seconds. And the report of the previous meeting, the minutes of the meeting, took around 2 minutes 50 seconds. And then the Master of Ceremonies overall took around 15 minutes. And then the speakers for today's evening, that is Toastmaster Saketh took 6 minutes 39 seconds, and Toastmaster Das took 7 minutes 31 seconds. And the evaluators for today's evening, Toastmaster Raja took 3 minutes 7 seconds, and then Toastmaster Shuba took 1 minute 55 seconds. And then the table topic master overall took 22 minutes 37 seconds. And the individual table topic speakers, as written on the board, we have DTM U Bhat, who took 2 minutes 54 seconds, Toastmaster Sakshi with 1 minute 14 seconds, Toastmaster Veerabhadrappa 2 minutes 14 seconds, DTM K Prabhakara 2 minutes 37 seconds, Toastmaster Sai Snehal 1 minute 20 seconds, and then Toastmaster Shiva 2 minutes 1 second, Toastmaster Jyothi with 2 minutes 10 seconds, Toastmaster Apoorva 1 minute 59 seconds, DTM Udanka 1 minute 53 seconds, Toastmaster Raja 1 minute 46 seconds, Toastmaster Madhu 1 minute 36 seconds. So everyone has crossed a minimum of 1 minute, so no tip for anybody. And then we have General Evaluator, who is right now still in the current process, taking up 20 minutes 46 seconds. And then we'll wait till we conclude the session and over to them.
That was extremely precise and correct timing information. Raise of hands if you go through the agenda that is being sent in the email. So what do you see in the agenda that has been sent? Anyone?
With regard to?
Generally, what do you observe?
I observe whether the time allotted and whether time
my
read out. I always, when the timer, for example, speaks, it is with respect to agenda that should be spoken. So I noted mentally, I didn't make the observation, open out, that with respect to something you talk, and that something is agenda. So agenda, if 20 minutes is allotted for, say, table topic, how much it took? 22 minutes. That mental note is made. I don't talk, but I held myself back many a times, but this is one such. That's the first thing that I make note of.
So time is something that's extremely important to all of us. The reason of an agenda being sent along with the time, not just the role takers, is to try and ensure that regardless of the role you take, be it the table topic master or the general evaluator, is to try and stick to the time that's been allotted to us, because this will help not just us to manage our time and also respect the time of the audience that is here. I think something that we can try the meetings going forward. Some exception can be when a speaker has a speech which goes beyond 7 minutes. For example, there are a couple of speeches which are for 20 minutes. So that's an exception. But usually, let's try and stick to it. Another thing that I want to ask you is, how many of you read the MOM that is being sent? What do you observe, sir? What do you observe? Role takers. Who's taken the role takers and all of that? You raise your hand. What do you observe?
You get the Google link to see the scorecard.
Everyone's on point today. So that is exactly what I wanted to highlight. How many of you observed there's a Google link at the bottom of the M1? Okay. To make it a point to go back, either look at the previous meetings MOM or the this meeting's MOM, and take a look at the scores that is being given, because this is a tracker for yourself for the number of meetings you've attended, number of roles you've taken, and whether you are on the scorecard to be the best role taker of the entire term. With that, let's quickly get back to today's meeting. And I was having a casual conversation with the Master of Ceremonies a few days ago, and I casually told him, Madhu, I think you break your word one by one when you speak behind the lectern. And today I asked him again in the break, did you watch that recording and did you find that observation that I told you? And he certainly said no. I think that's something subconsciously he's put in efforts, and today his theme, the choice of words and the story that he had was exceptionally amazing. He did speak about relevance of today's world and what North Star is, basically being stuck to a ground reality, and also have a certain guiding force or a guiding direction to us. Regardless of what you're doing in life, you can be a runner, you can be a badminton player, or regardless of anything, have that North Star in your life. And today, he did exactly the same. In spite of being the Master of Ceremonies, you tend to get deviated from what the theme is, but he stuck to the entire theme throughout the meeting. He knew what exactly he was supposed to speak about. Even if he went a little deviated towards another aspect, he did come back and he did get back on track. That's something that he's done exceptionally well today. A few things that I remember or I like to quote from his own story is discipline is something that will keep you free for life. And I also like the fact you connected the entire theme to Toastmasters by bringing in that North Star movement about it. That was amazing. And I would like to say that you are the North Star for today's meeting and you have done an exceptional job today. If you all agree with it, give him a huge round of applause. One thing I'd like to highlight is the fact that you got in smooth introductions from B to your story to Toastmasters to the role takers to evaluators to, say, the table topic master and me. I think that was the job really well done. You knitted it well. There was no gaps, there was no leakages, and I think that's something you worked on really well. Kudos, keep up, and always keep shining. With that, we come to the end of today's meeting, and I hope you had a nice evaluation. Thank you, and back to the Master's office.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sai. This was my second time hosting a meeting, and I must say I'm really enjoying how it's going. Like after the first time, I immediately went back to our VPE and I told her I need another slot to host, and this was that meeting. So thank you so much. I think it was a great meeting, and with that, I hand the charge back to our acting president, Toastmaster Sindhushree.
So before we go towards the conclusion of today's meeting, I request everyone to quickly, take out your phones and then cast your valuable oaths for today's role takers. And I'll quickly give you 30 seconds to do that. And in the meantime, I request our guests today to give your feedback as to how you found the meeting and when would you like to join us. We'll start with you, ma'am.
So I find I'm very good. In fact, it was very enjoyable session. What I could say, because I was laughing throughout the session because a lot of jokes were there in between. So I thoroughly enjoyed the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
As you can see, this is my second class I am attending. From last class, what I observed is that singing in national anthem is very fantastic moment for me. Because when we were in high school, then only we sing that song. Last 5 years, I felt I haven't heard that song. I accept that freedom. So that's it.
Thank you.
Lot to learn from this session. First time I went to Toastmasters was with my age people. First time it's all seniors, so very much interesting and good to listen to everyone.
Thank you.
Amazing session. Each of us had different point of view, which enriched my brain, and lot of key takeaways to take from here. I'll make a decision about my joining and communicate.
Thank you. You can all contact Toastmaster Apoorva for further inquiries or any other related questions that you have for us. To come towards the award particular session for today's evening, for the best evaluator, we have, please put your hands together to welcome on stage Toastmaster Raja. And for the best speaker for today's evening, it goes to Toastmaster Saketh. And the most awaited one, for the best table topic response, we have a lot of good colorful wheels, and we have a tie. I would like to first welcome, with a huge round of applause, U Bhat sir. Then we have Toastmaster Veerabhadrappa sir. And then we have K Prabhakara.
Saketh. One more.
No, about 70 around 70 years, only 3 years.
You can hold it for
Oh, yeah.
some of us.
You should hand over.
And for the best MTG role taker we have for today's evening is none other than Toastmaster Madhu. Please. And the best TAPG role taker goes to the one who just not heard but also listened. Now, just like against a statement, please welcome with a huge round of applause this one, Sakshi. And with that, we have come to the end of today's meeting. Let us all raise together for national anthem and join the